Hello everyone, welcome to the 6th episode of Road to Superbowl, the series its whole purpose is to get you up to speed with your NFL teams during the off-season that it's absolutely boring because there is no games to be played. Free agency is over, we are expecting one of very interesting drafts to come. There are so many prospects that are being talked about, whether it's QBs, whereas generational talents in terms of wide receivers, very interesting hybrid tight end in Brock Bowers, etc. etc. So for this and overall for just your NFL entertainment, here we are. What is this series all about? Like, if you have not watched the previous episodes, they will be linked in the description, or you can find them on my channel under the section Road to Super Bowl. We will be taking a look at every single team that there is in NFL. We'll do it in the draft order that's like the pre-Vikings trade draft order. So we have already done the Bears, we have already done Patriots, and now here we are with the Giants as the sixth overall pick that they currently hold. We will talk about their lineup, but we'll try to do it more from the perspective of not a casual fan, but a guy that kind of wishes that he was a GM in NFL, and it's kind of his dream job, despite the day he absolutely loves what he does at the moment. So, with no further ado, let's start with the Giants. With start, we should talk a bit about the last year, about the offseason, before we get deep into the roster rundown. Also, if you are familiar with the show, you know that I would like to focus on maybe two or on three things that I want to have like the topics for the Giants or for the particular team. And here I feel like the first topic is the biggest one by far, and the second and third are one is more of a clickbait, and the second one is just a situation about one player that ultimately I don't think should make or break Giants' future. So I will definitely focus on the QB situation. The on top in New York is definitely a long time battle between the Giants and the Jets. Both teams kind of sucks last year, and they were both expected to be much better than they are. They are both exceptional in terms of Jets and very good in terms of Giants in terms of defense. And like, it's a big brand, especially with Giants, but obviously with New York, even the Jets and now with Aaron Rodgers are quite a big brand. So the fight there is definitely something that you aspire just for the bragging rights, if not for anything else. And the third topic is Darren Waller. I will talk about him a bit when we talk about the tight end situation here, because he is suggesting a retirement from the football, which it's a bit surprising given that they traded for him just last year. But obviously the biggest topic is the QB situation. You can see the picture that represents burning money, and that I feel like that's a lot of people's approach or look towards Daniel Jones' contract. Also, for today's episode, I've tried different settings with camera. You can see me a bit more from my worst angle, but you can also see a lovely picture that I have behind me, like just a bit. It's just mountains. It's from friends from Displayed. I really like their pictures, but they are not sponsors today, so no more promos for them. But if you want it, we can talk about next episode. I have more than one, but I won't say how much or how much I like them, unless I am getting paid. Just like the Joker said, if you are good at something, never do it for free. That's a good life advice. It really is. But let's go. So the 2023 for the Giants was an absolutely horrendous season. Like, you cannot put it any other way. Like, they were coming off one win in playoff. They were coming off Daniel Jones' best year and coming off with quite a lot of hope and hype about them, which I didn't really see, like that they should be this good, that they will have a tougher schedule. Dallas and Philadelphia still look great, so their own division is quite hard. So I was not as hyped on them, but I definitely did not see season that was as bad as 2023 was for Giants. You can say, well, their QB got injured like week 5, so give them some slack. And I won't, because quite honestly, I don't think the season would go like highly different if Daniel Jones were a QB, because the O-line issues would not go away. The fact that they just don't have playmakers would not go away. The secondary that was, especially in terms of cornerbacks, I was slamming Washington. Maybe this is worse room in terms of cornerbacks, and like especially the floor. I'm not like saying that Deontay Banks is bust already, but yeah, in terms of floor, this could be one of the worst rooms in the NFL, and they definitely performed very poorly last year. So, and it's not like their high first round pick in Kayvon Thibodeau actually had a great second year in NFL. So overall, pretty much everything that could go wrong went wrong for Giants, but more in terms of performance. I don't feel like you can blame injuries for their season, because overall, like they were not. Like Dexter Lawrence played the whole season, right? Like your best player did play the whole season. Tyrell Taylor is, I think, on the verge of being a top 30 QB in the league. So he is definitely a capable backup, especially in the system where he follows up Daniel Jones, because you can do similar things with these two guys. And then Tommy DeVito, I mean, he was fun. Is he starting QB for an NFL team? No. But he was fun. He did not play poorly. So you cannot say like if Daniel Jones is healthy, their season is very, very different. This offseason, there is a lot of conversation, obviously, about Daniel Jones, about if they will draft a QB. And a lot of people seems to be done with Daniel Jones. Am I? Like, in a way, yes, but I still feel like in terms of draft, I would have other plans than draft his successor. But before we get to the draft, let's talk about the signings they made in terms of free agency. There were actually not that many, but you can obviously highlight the trade for Brian Burns, for Carolina's guy. They spent the 2nd round and 5th round on him, which is, it's a great value. I feel like he is a guy that's definitely gonna push this team like a notch up, gives them identity, because the D-line is looking very scary right now with Dexter Lawrence. Hopefully, Kayvon Thibodeau is actually gonna follow up on his first year, but we will get to that later. So I like this move. Other than that, they were not big spenders. I feel like it was, I would say measured off season with one big addition that I absolutely like. So I would say good off season. And in terms of draft, I will untraditionally start here, because I feel like it's very important to talk about Daniel Jones and the offense before we go into the rundown, just because of the 6th pick that they hold. And they are predicted, or most people have them like picking either Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy, whoever falls down to them. Some would even suggest that they should move up to like number 3 to take Jaden Daniels or Drake May, whoever's up. And I just don't see it. And the reason why I don't see it is not that I don't think Daniel Jones is overpaid. It's not that I don't think he's like great, like I don't think he's great. But hear me out. Like this regime, this general manager and this coach, Mandable and I just forget the GM's name. Let me find out. GM Giants. So guys, but yeah, let's continue until I find it. So they gave Daniel Jones 4-year, like 200 million contract. Just last off season. It's Joe Schwen. Yeah, Joe Schwen. And he played 4 games under the contract, like 4 games. I mean, you can admit that especially the Dallas game was absolutely horrendous. But when you look at those 4 games, it's like they faced Dallas, they faced San Francisco, Nick Bosa, Micah Parsons, and you can go on and on about the D-lines there. With the O-line that was absolutely horrendous, like there was not much that Daniel Jones could have done. Like he didn't do even enough. Like he definitely did not overperform, but he was not set up to success. And then he got injured. So it's 4 games under this contract. And there is no pretty way how to get out of this contract for 2024. Yes? So for 2024, I believe you are stuck with Daniel Jones. 2025, 2026 is definitely a different song. We'll talk about it later. But for now, I feel like you are stuck with him. And if you are Brian Dable, if you are Joe Schwen, you need success this season. I really think that you need success this season because if they will go like 6-11, 5-12, do you think either of these guys keeps a job? I don't. I feel like they will be both gone. So why would they come together and say like, yeah, we're gonna draft Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, with like a vision that neither of these guys, and especially the JJ McCarthy, who I definitely view as a guy that should sit down his fifth year, I don't feel like you, on average, will get a better QB year 1, so for 2024. And you won't have, because you drafted him with the 6th pick, or even if you move up, you don't have another resources that you need to fill this roster. So for the success of 2024, I don't feel like drafting Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy is a good idea, right? Like it's just not. Like I don't think that. And I feel like the 2 guys whose jobs are on the line, which I feel like despite Brian Dable's, I really like him as a head coach, but I think even his job is on the line, and Joe Schwen definitely is. Like it does not make sense for them to draft Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy. So maybe for the future of the franchise, it would be a better idea to draft one of these guys. But the guys in power that should have the last say about who they want to draft, it's counter their like needs or their position to draft either Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy. So I'm really going to be watching what they will do on the draft night. But to me, they will not draft a QB because of this reason. Like it's just like human nature. Like it's my job on the line. Why should I care about the next guy having a better QB or a better situation in 2025? Why should I care? Like I want my job. I want to succeed. And like my lifespan as a head coach, as a general manager is not super high. It's really hard to justify and do this. I think like guys like Kevin O'Connell, he can do that because I feel like he has an absolute trust in Minnesota. He's doing some amazing things. And yeah, I don't feel like in New York you have these guys that will be patient with another mediocre year. So to me, they will not draft a QB. Let's go run down the roster. Let's look what the holes are, what the hopefully strong parts are here. And yeah, let's go. So for listeners, if you want to watch some cool pictures of maybe your favorite players or your not favorite players, now's the time to put your eyes in and check the playing cards with me. So we have Daniel Jones, Tyler Taylor, Tommy DeVito, Drew Lock, Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida. Again, if you are watching this for the first time, I'm also including players that are not anymore here, because I want to show you guys who were there in 2023, who maybe I thought that they could resign, would resign, etc., or who they are losing as an impactful player. So Drew Lock, Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida, Eric Gray, Devin Singletary, Darius Slayton. I mean, Eric Gray, interesting haircut, my man. And Wanda Robinson. I'm not sure I did him any favors with this picture. Sorry. Jalen Hyatt, Daniel Bellinger, and Darren Waller, whom we already talked about, like might be approaching retirement. So here's the situation that you were like before the free agency start, and here's where you are right now. So if you don't want to if you want to just listen, now it's time to go back to just listening. I will tell you details, and obviously again we will start with Daniel Jones. So for better or worse, this $47.1 million cap hit is there. It's not going anywhere for 2024. You can cut him, but you are not getting rid of this cap hit this season. What gives you more interesting situation is actually the future of Daniel Jones, because you are owing him $41.6 and $58.6 million in terms of cap hit and in terms of cap and cash. But you can get rid of him after 2024 only. I mean, I will use the term only very loosely here, with $11 million in dead cap hit for both of these seasons. What's even more interesting, the way this is structured, if Daniel Jones would be good in 2024, $41 million cap hit for 2025 is actually not that outrageous, because again, you can only, again very loosely use this term, save about $30 million against that cap. And like I said, if he is good, the good QBs, like the bridge QBs of the world, like Geno Smith and guys like that, $40 million for them is reasonable payment. So for me, you are stuck with him till 2024. You give him the chance. Even if he is good, great, or whatever, you will keep him for 2025. And then unless he's absolutely exceptional, you cut him after 2025, and you will save, $47 million for 2026, only having 11 million in dead cap. So that's how I would approach Daniel Jones. You brought Drew Lock as a backup here, which I really don't like this move. Like, I'm coming from Seattle, I'm not from Seattle, but I'm a Seahawks fan. And I just don't see a $5 million backup in him. I feel like you have Tommy DeVito. Why bring another guy? And also, like, if you would actually be drafting a QB, Drew Lock is like number 3 or number 4 in this locker room. So I don't see why you spend $5 million here. I think Tommy DeVito is a guy that maybe he's worse than Drew Lock, okay, but at least if he's playing, like, you can see the crowd in it. Like, he at least gives you some form of energy for this team, With Drew Lock, like, yeah, you are not getting that. Like, he's not a super lovable hometown guy, eating spaghetti from his mama, etc. So I don't understand this move at all. The other move that they made to this group, I actually like. I think Devin Singletary is a very good player. He's reuniting with Brian Dable here because they know each other obviously from the Bills, and the money are just good. I'm not saying that's just some insane value, but I think he is a good successor to Saquon Barkley, who obviously left for the Eagles. Sorry Giants fan if this still hurts, but I think at Devin Singletary you get a high character, very good guy that should be a serviceable number 1, and I feel like 3rd, 4th round, this is a room you invest in as as there are some running backs in that area that I would target if I were a Giants GM. And now let's go to the rest. And wide receivers, I mean, like since Odell Beckham, there has not been a great or amazing wide receiver in this group. Maybe there were great one with Sterling Shepard for 1 year. But other than that, like last 2 or 3 years, it's just ugly, man. It's just absolutely ugly. Like if Darius Slayton is your best weapon, or okay, if your best wide receiver, I'm like, really? I mean, Jalen Hyatt had a solid first season, but I don't really saw like so much that I would say like, yeah, I'm happy with him as my starter. I think he definitely has a potential, and with this group he could become number one because there's just no one there. But I really feel like with number 6, you either trade down or you take a wide receiver, because whether it's Malik Neighbors, whether it's Romeo Nunze, or if somehow Marvin Harrison falls into your lap, I think you address this position and you just go from there, because suddenly with like number 1 guy in either of these 2 players, because I really don't see Marvin Harrison falling to them, it's something, man. Like I'm not saying it's even like medium good room. It's not good room. It's just not horrendous, which I think right now it is. And Darren Waller, again, like he is a guy that they brought last season. They expected huge things out of him, and he didn't have a great season. Of course, you can say, well, he was playing with backup QB, but I don't really feel like the fit is necessarily there. And also, like, I did not see him like enjoying football that much, and I feel like with him, given his past, like the mental side of the ball is, I would say, more important than it is to an average player, because I feel like if he's feeling good, he's gonna perform much better, than the average guy who maybe doesn't get his mood influence his performance so much. Daniel Bellinger as your number 10, I like him. As my number 1, I would not like that situation. Again, if like Denver tends to retire, I feel like maybe draft down and hope Brock Bowers is still on the board. I don't know, like number 12, where you could trade down. That could be a spot. Like I feel like you could be a destination which like Minnesota Vikings sends their 12th and 23rd pick they have. You go down, you hope either Romeo Dunce or Brock Bowers are still up. If not, you could take the best QB, the best cornerback that you feel like is out there, because that's another need you have. And if he is, like Brock Bowers could be a fun fit here. But overall, there is not much upside. Like you are looking at this offense and yeah, you just need to upgrade, man. Like, and that's again why I just don't think like drafting Jaden Daniels or JJ McCarthy is doing that. Not for 2024, like for 25 and going forward. Yeah, but for now it doesn't. So really not a great room. For guys who want to watch cool faces, now I am going to be showing cards. So put up your glasses and take a look with me. So Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, Mark Lewinsky, John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, German Illuminor, Ben Brederson, Joshua Ezuedu, and Tyree Phillips. That's the O-line to talk about. So here is where we were last year, or before the free agency started, like when we finished last season, and here is where we are right now. So what you can see is they invested some money in here and they cut Mark Lewinsky. The thing with Lewinsky is he was their best ranked guard last season, which doesn't say much because like pretty much beside Andrew Thomas, the four pieces they had, they were it was ugly. Like John Michael Schmitz and Evan Neal were pretty much the worst graded players on their positions. John Michael Schmitz as a center, Evan Neal as right tackle. Like from starters, no one was like worse than these two guys. And the fact that your best graded guy was Mark Glowinski, but you did not play him as a guard like later in the season, should be telling that they saw that he's just not good, like despite being graded out quite fairly. So they were rather putting, Joshua Azuedu, who like was getting torched, but maybe there's a potential in him that they wanted to find out about, and that's why they did not even put Mark Lewinsky in. But man, like left guard, center, right guard, right tackle, that was something. That was definitely something, and that's why I don't think like if you have Daniel Jones in, it just changes that much, because like I don't think anyone can play with essentially one offensive lineman, despite that Andrew Thomas is an elite offensive lineman, and be good. Like it it just cannot happen. So where we are right now post free agency, I think we are in a like much better situation. Okay, like that's the one thing, and it's actually interestingly good enough situation, I would say. Like I would not touch this group in the draft, like definitely not with premium picks, because in Azuedu, John Michael Schmitz, and Evan Neal, you have prospects that you invested, especially in Evan Neal. And okay, like what they've shown so far was like dreadful in terms of Neal and Schmitz, and hey, Mech with Azuedu. The reason why he's ranked below these guys is because of his draft pedigree. But you are bringing Mr. Brasillo, one of the best offensive line coach in the league, to work with this. And he also brought German Illuminor from Raiders, who is like serviceable guy. I think that's the same you can say about John Runner. So what they've done is they brought two guys that should not struggle every snap. They should provide you with some stability. German Illuminor could play guard, I think, if the need is there. So I predict that they will start Andrew Thomas, John Runyon, John Michael Schmitz, German Illuminor, and Evan Neal. It could be that if Evan Neal is like what he was last 2 years, they will early lose patience with him, start Azuedu instead of Illuminor at guard, and Illuminor moves to right tackle, and you are just done with Evan Neal, I'm sorry. So it could be it, but I still think that they will, because of the investment, they will still try to make this work. And that O-line, like you have two guards in there that, next to John Michael Schmitz, next to them, should feel much better than he did last year, because like there were just a plethora of guys that should not be starting in the NFL. So to enter that as a rookie center, that's really a really tough situation, right? Like you don't have guys that would help you, whether it's from position of strength, of experience, of quality, of anything. So no wonder that he was really bad. And with this online, like you have quite an interesting upside if John Michael Schmitz and Evan Neal hit theirs. And you should have quite a good floor with Andrew Thomas being just a rock solid left tackle. I still have him as an elite guy for that position. And John Runyon with German Illuminor as players that should not be problems for you. I'm not saying they are good. I'm saying, yeah, this is the term of NFL player that he can start. He should not be a guy you like are astounded or you are happy with, but for the money you are paying them, it's like 6 million, 5 million a year. Okay, it goes down to 11 and 9, so it says an essential on average like 8 million. That's a good good value for inside offensive lineman, especially like given the market that was this year, where like Robert Hunt got like 20 million on average. Like, I'm not saying he's not better than John Ryan, he is like much better, but the market went kind of crazy on guards. So I really like what they've done addressing this position. I don't see them touching this group with like early picks. Again, Joe Alt could be there for number 6, but just like with the Chargers that we talked about, you have your franchise left tackle, so you're either spending him and trying to make him right tackle, where here is even worse situation because you already have like a high investment there in Evan Neal, and you have a serviceable guy in German Illuminor there. So Joe Alt here does not make sense. Again, another reason why I feel like drafting down for the Giants kind of makes sense, because the premium players that will be up there are QBs. I don't think you should draft the one, or I don't think you will. I think that you should have in terms of future, but for now I don't think you will. And wide receivers, definitely a group that you are stuck, but I feel like if the top 2 guys are not there, maybe you are not like so high on Romeo Odunze that you feel like, okay, there's most likely quite a premium offers to move to 6. Yeah, let's draft down because we have needs. Overall, the offense, if everything clicks, and I feel like they would be set up to things to click if they address the wide receiver or Brock Bowers in terms of tight end room, and Bristol kind of fixes this horrendous O-line. This could be a surprisingly interesting offense. Like, when you compare this to 2022, I think on the paper it's better offense than it was there. And back in you don't have Saquon Barkley, so okay, maybe I will hold on that statement. Okay, I think it's comparable. Like, you don't have Saquon, who's obviously the main part and vocal part of this offense, but I think Daniel Jones, like design runs and his ability to run the ball, could open lanes for Devin Singletary. You have a better O-line, you have slightly better weaponry just because you have Darren Waller. Okay, so let's say it's comparable. I think it's comparable to what they had in 2022, and they were a great offense in 2022. Like, not amazing, but they were okay. Good offense. Let's not jump up that high. But I can definitely see Evan Neal being absolutely horrendous. John Michael Schmitz, again, like following his rookie season, suddenly you have at least 1 weak link in that O-line if Joshua Zuedu kind of hits, or you could have 2. You could definitely see Daniel Jones not recovering well, or kind of losing confidence in just like Mac Jones type of way, where he would feel like he's not wanted in the New York, and he would just lose it. So I can see how they could be one of the worst offenses in the league. But I think they could surprise a lot of people if they address it, and Daniel will get his shot. So let's go to the defense again for guys that want to also get to know the players and their faces. Now is the time. So put on your glasses. I'm giving you a couple of seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. So Aziz Ojulari, Carlos Basham Jr., or Biggie Basham, Ashawn Robinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, Raheem Nunez-Roches, Brian Burns, Jordan Lyerly, and Jihad Ward. For some reason, I don't have Dexter Lawrence here, which is definitely a mistake. Okay, why don't I have Dexter Lawrence here? Welcome back. So, yeah, Like, it took me 3 minutes, but I fixed the problem with missing Dexter Lawrence. Like, how did I miss Dexter Lawrence? I feel like it's more like it's a similar sense to what the Vikings have done in 2022 playoffs, that they kind of forget that they should defend him, because what he's done to them in that playoff game. Yeah, it really felt like, yeah, who is Dexter Lawrence? Should we defend him? I mean, he was absolutely, he was a crazy man out there. Like, he was band possessed, and I think he followed up on this season quite great. But we go to that in a short while. So Jordan Riley, Dexter Lawrence, Jihad Ward, Micah McFadden, Bobby Okereke, and Isaiah Simmons. Again, here we were before the free agency started, and here we are right now. So if you want to come back and just listen, now is the time. You have another like 10 minutes before we will hit another phases. So what is there to say about this team defensive line? It's the identity of this team. Like, Dexter Lawrence is, I mean, with Aaron Donald retirement, him and Chris Jones are the top two guys in that position. Like, I'm not sure if I would pick Chris Jones over Dexter Lawrence. I think that highly of him. Like, and having this guy on this contract is crazy value. Like, you are paying him essentially, like, what is it, 23 millions per season on average, and I consider that a massive value. Like, hands down, value per money. If you get the rookies out of the conversation, because you are not paying them proper money because of the rookie contracts, and you are talking about elite guys, I feel like this is the most valuable contract you have. You can obviously argue Patrick Mahomes is more valuable because he is just, like there. But other than that, I feel like Dexter Lawrence for this money is an absolute steal. Like, I think he should be paid more, for like 7 million at least. Like, I think he's $30 million per year a player. And you have Raheem Nunez-Roches as kind of his partner on the D-line. You can live with that. Like, he is a starter in the NFL. And on the edge, you have traded for Brian Burns, who I feel like you've overpaid a bit in terms of salary, but obviously when you are trading for him, you have to pay him. I hope he still develops, because I dropped his rank from amazing starter to just very good starter for this episode. But yeah, I think he definitely has traits to be an amazing starter, and you hope that alongside him, Kayvon Thibodeau will get to his upside. And if that happens, like, you have crazy defensive line, like with Boogie Basham and Azeez Ojulari as your depth. You absolutely love that. I'm not sure if they will bring Isaiah Simmons back, but I feel like he had quite a nice season there, being kind of a hybrid role in the defense. And you also hit on your linebackers finally, like Bobby Okereke, a guy that was perhaps a little bit overlooked in Indianapolis because of Darius Leonard there. He came here and he was great. Like, he was really a bright spot of the defense in the middle of the field. He is the guy. You are paying him 11 million. Another, I think, good value for money. And with Micah McFadden, you have him for another 2 years. He is a late round pick, and for late round linebacker pick, he is playing very well. Like, I still have him as just a good backup, because there is some elements missing in his game, but as your linebacker too, as still a rookie, I think you are absolutely happy. You know, I don't think you need better than this. You know, with Bobby Akiriki and Micah McFadden, I think you have good enough linebacker room. You know, like middle of the pack. With Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Aziz Ojulari on the outside, you have a package that could turn up to be one of the most nasty edge in the league. And in Dexter Lawrence, you have an absolute stud of an inside guy. So this, I feel like, is the identity of New York Giants. And I'm kind of playing with actually bringing another defensive tackle here. Like, probably not, okay, definitely not with the 6th pick, but if I trade down and get like some additional 2nd round or late 1st round pick, I feel like this could be an interesting situation for, I don't know, if Jason Newton falls down to like number 20 or whatever. Because I just want to see it, man. Like, I just want to see how highly talented, you know, very good prospect would pair up with Dexter Lawrence, the same way Brian Burns is going to pair up with Bobby Okereke, the same way with Kayvon Thibodeau, and the same way the Bobby Okereke will pair up with Micah McFadden, and just drag these young guys to the great heights they have, complement each other, and just be pain in the ass defensive line to play against. Like, I just want to see that. Like, I think it's already there. Like, I already think it's one of the best lines in the league, or best group, because I grade linebackers into this. But man, I just think it would be fun to see another prospect coming here and just dominate the game from defensive line. I don't think it's gonna happen, but it would be fun. It would be fine. In terms of Isaiah Simmons, I feel like if you can get him for 1 year, $3 million type of deal, you know, kind of proof again that you can be good. I think you bring him back because he gives you nice depth, nice rotation, and he's still a decent player. Like, there is still some reason why he went in the 1st round. So you could see some of the flashes in his game. For you guys that want to actively watch, now is the time to come back, because we are showing you the secondary. So Deontay Banks, Aaron Robinson, Cordell Flott, Trey Hawkins the 3rd, Adoree Jackson. Like, is this a good picture or bad for Adoree Jackson? Let me know. Like, I'm not sure because he looks weird. And Nick McLeod, Dane Belton, Xavier McKinney, Jason Pinnock. That's it. So again, this is the room as it stood before free agency, and this is it right now. So what you can see, they did not invest pretty much anything other than like signing back Nick McLeod. So the two like highly graded guys here, Adoree Jackson and Xavier McKinney, are both gone. I think in terms of Adoree Jackson, you are kind of happy because despite me listing him as a good starter, he was declining. He didn't have the great season, and I would say that he would want more money than he is worth, at least in my opinion. With Xavier McKinney, that's another story. I think he was really good last season. I feel like he is a very good player. I have him as a very good starter with still potential to become an amazing starter in my view. I don't think he will ever like reach the elite status for me in terms of safeties, but he could be like in that tier 2 very soon for me. Also, that tier 2 is an amazing starter. So losing Xavier McKinney to the Packers, yeah, that hurts. It doesn't hurt as much as losing Saquon to the Eagles, obviously, but it still hurts. And yeah, here is this the cheapest room or was it the Washington's one? I'm not sure. Like, you are paying your secondary like 10 millions. So what do you expect, right? Like, there's not much there. And like the cornerback room last year was the worst graded room in the NFL, and it was not even close. Like the best graded guy was not even in double digits. He was like 106th per PFF from the guys that actually met just the required amount of snaps to be graded in this like first category. And do I expect that to improve? No. No, like Deontay Banks obviously could clean up his game, could return you the value that you've invested in him in high for no, not high, but first round pick. But is that a certainty? Should he be your number one guy? No and no. So yeah, this group I think needs a leader, which is a bit of a problem because we are only ahead of draft. So it's going to be hard to find a leader. I actually would say that a guy like Justin Simmons here could make sense, just from that veteran perspective. Having really good player out there could help other guys to develop, which is something you definitely want to do. And again, like I would not draft the cornerback with number 6, but if I draft down, especially if it's with Vikings, I think with number 12 pick, there should be a guy worth taking there in terms of cornerback, and you can see him and Deontay Banks together, maybe under leadership from Justin Simmons from that safety role, next to Jason Payne, who is a decent player. They could develop into something good. But as it stands right now, this group is horrendous. Like the floor is it's a bumpy floor, and it's really really low one. So that's also why I am like intrigued by the idea of actually investing the premium pick into the D-line, not the number 6, but later first round, because I don't think you will save the secondary within this draft. Like I don't think that's going to happen. Like you don't have enough picks. So what do you need to do to protect these guys is like don't give opposing QB like any time. Like like give them two seconds to let the ball fly and not more. And I feel like that D line is definitely set up to do that. And if you add another piece, it's just that could be saving your secondary, right? So that's why I'm playing with this idea. But I definitely think this is, to me, prime position to draft a cornerback. And I would say bringing veteran safety like Justin Simmons should be a play, because without that, I feel like this could be a group that will just drag your season down no matter what you do. And you kind of have, like you might have 3 groups that have potential to do that. It could be an offensive line if Evan Neal, John Michael Schmitz, and Ezue are bad. It could be pretty much your weaponry because there's not much there, and it's your secondary. So like I feel like this group is the most likely to do it, which says a lot given what the offensive line was for Giants last year, and that you did not like bring any like super talented guys there. But I think you've done enough there, and you have not done anything here. So good luck. That's all I can say. It's a good luck, and I would not want to be a Giants fan for, especially like seeing your defensive line being dominated, and yet you still are getting scored on pretty much easily because your secondary just can't hold anything. Like I think that could be a situation if this secondary does not improve. Whether it's through the draft or through nature development, but do I trust the nature development of these guys? not. And through the draft, yeah, I hope you address that. So overall, that's your New York Football Giants for the roster rundown. Now let's just take a look who is in charge of this. Brian Daboll as your head coach and your offensive coordinator, pretty much. They have this split with Mike Kafka. He's not like in Sean McVay tier of offensive head coaches, but I think he's good enough to be a head coach that specializes on offense. I think he brings a lot out of his players, but he just were thrown into not very good situation, and he kind of did not help himself by making Daniel Jones look great, because I would expect because of that he got a contract that he just never should have gotten. Like, I feel like if you gave him 3 years, 100 millions, nobody would argue that. Like, after that season he deserved that, but like 4 years, almost 200 millions. Yeah. So I feel like Brian Daboll is kind of screwed himself up unintentionally by making Daniel Jones look much better than he is in 2022. And with Shane Bowen, what is there to say about him? Like, they brought him here from... Yeah, they brought him here from the Titans. And here again, you will hear my respect to Mike Vrabel, because I really feel like he is a capable head coach. And he handpicked Shane Bowen, like couple of days after he signed with Titans. Shane Bowen was there as well. He started as like linebackers coach, I think, but then moved to defensive coordinator for the Titans. So I think he could be very, very good presence, but he does not have great secondary to work with. So good luck, man. I hope you will make this D-line as fun as possible, because I would like absolutely dominant D-line, and I think this has a making of it. And it could mask what you don't have in secondary. In terms of special teams, Graham Gano and Jamie Gillan, they are another problems that you have. Like, both of them were like subpar last season, so the fact that you are not moving from them is a bit surprising, but maybe you hope that it was just a fluke for them. I mean, Jamie Gillan used to have a better season, the same you can say about Graham Gano. But if they repeat what they've done last year, they will be in yet another position that could drag this team down. So when we talk about, here's the part when I like to talk about like what's their Super Bowl window. Like, this series is called Road to Super Bowl. Like, when will Giants win the Super Bowl? Like, I'm like I told you guys, I'm only going to talk about like 3 years time span right now before we enter the post draft. That I will like prolong it to 5 years, and realistically, I don't think there's a way for them to win in 3 years. Like, part of it is because I don't think they will address the position of QB and in the draft, or not, especially with the sixth pick. So if they would draft Jaden Daniels, I feel like 2026, with Andrew Thomas still being on a good deal, Dexter Lawrence still being on a good deal, John Michael Schmitz being on a rookie deal if he improves, yeah, I can see that happening. Like, maybe, like that team could fill the needs. At that point, Philadelphia Eagles could be in rebuild in terms of their division. The Cowboys would have to be paying Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and maybe Dak Prescott at that point, which would be like 160 million combined, something crazy like that, to just 3 players. So yeah, I could see 2026. I don't see that future for them if they will stick with Daniel Jones. but I still think they will, because he gives them, I would say, better chance to at least go to playoffs in the next 3 years, or especially this year. He gives them a better chance to have a good season, which is something that I think this staff, both coaches and the GM, actually need to keep their job. So I think because of that, they will choose kind of deliberately to stay in kind of a purgatory in which like you are stuck with a QB on a bad contract that you know is not going to win Super Bowl for you, but you could be relevant, you know? Because I don't think you will be relevant with Jaden Daniels. It's not against Jaden Daniels, but it's just I feel like this team has so many problems that unless you have Daniel Jones, who I feel like could be at the same level as Jaden Daniels on average for the season, and you have the 6th pick or the picks that you can get out of trading down, yeah, I would much rather have Daniel Jones and that pick or the value from that if I want to succeed this season, which I again think that Giants need to. So this could be first, but I don't think the only team. Hello Broncos, hello Saints. You know, like just a little sneak peek into the future. This could be a team that I will actually say I don't think their window is open for the next 3 years. So yeah, with that like note that I don't think will put a smile on many Giants faces, or fans of, maybe you are not all Giants, just because you are a fan of New York Giants. Maybe you are not all Giants. So I'm sorry to disappoint you, but yeah, I don't think it's realistic because of the approach that I feel like you will take. And the interesting question is, if I were a GM here, would I take that approach? Like, if it was my job on the line, yeah, I probably would, because like, yeah, I want to give myself a better chance to have a job and to actually show what I can do, rather than being let go from the Giants and possibly never have any GM job in the foreseeable future, or possibly never. So I would probably do what's best for me, and you know, trying to win with Daniel Jones. Fingers crossed. So with that, we are finishing this episode. Thank you very much, guys, for listening. If you would be so kind to drop a like, recommend this to your friends if they enjoy NFL talks as much as you do or as much as I do, I would very much appreciate that. Let me know, how do you like this new view of me? Like, is it fun, or is it creepy, or is it like my double chin is actually bothering you? Let me know. And see you with the next one. Bye.